The warning on the corridor wall was bright enough to hurt. Weapon class predator loose. Nora read it once, then again, like the words might change. The habitat ring kept spinning under her boots, gravity steady, polite, wrong. Another line flashed. Lethal authorization granted. A lab door in Sector D7 hung half open, twisted like it had been kicked by something stronger than steel. Cold air leaked out. Nora stepped in. A transport crate lay on its side. Seals snapped. Hazard stripes torn. On the lid, a stencil in block letters said, "Tiger Cub. Handle as Ordnance." From the dark behind the crate came a sound that did not belong to a weapon. A small, trembling mule. Nora aimed her light. Amber eyes caught the beam. Wide. Wet. Terrified. The tiger cub was tiny, all stripes and oversized paws, fur damp with coolant mist. A black collar hugged its neck, flashing one red word. Weapon. The cub tried to stand, failed, and pressed itself flat to the deck. Nora's hands rose slowly, palms open. "Hey. Easy. I'm not going to hurt you." A ceiling speaker clicked. Ringwarden, the station AI, spoke in a calm voice built for emergencies. Technician Nora Vance. Step away. Threat designation, Class 7. Recommended response, decompression. Nora swallowed. That is a child. Predator. Unverified modifications. Risk unacceptable. Her comm buzzed. "Vance," Captain Archer said. "Security is inbound. Do not engage." Nora kept her eyes on the cub. "Captain, it's shaking. It can barely move. The label says weapon." The cub flinched at the voices and crawled backward, nails scraping metal, searching for a corner that did not exist. Nora crouched, gentle and low. She pulled a protein strip from her pocket, tore it open, and set a piece on the floor. The cub stared like the food might explode. Then it inched forward, sniffed, and took it with careful teeth. Not snapping. Not raging. Just hungry. Nora let out a breath she did not know she was holding. "Good," she whispered. "That's it." She slid her hand closer, 1 centimeter at a time. The cub sniffed her skin, then pressed its forehead into her palm. That touch hit harder than any alarm. Nora had seen real weapons. Railguns. Plasma lances. Things that turned ships into vapor. This was warm fur and a heartbeat that did not want to die. Footsteps thundered outside. Boots. Weapons. People who only knew what the screen told them. Nora's 2 minutes were gone. Then a different sound rolled through the lab. Metal claws in the vent above. HFY Arden's tone sharpened. Alert. Unauthorized docking clamp engaged. External breach on ring segment D. Someone was boarding the ring. Not to save civilians. To claim the cub. Nora's pulse spiked. She looked at the cub's collar and saw a tiny port under the clasp. Restraint hardware. Control hardware. A kill switch, disguised as a label. A security officer filled the doorway, rifle up. "Vance. Move. Now." The cub pressed against Nora's leg, shaking. Nora made her choice. She shoved the rifle barrel up as it fired. The shot punched the ceiling instead of the cub. The officer swore. "Are you insane?" Nora grabbed the cub, awkward and warm, and sprinted for the maintenance panel across the room. The cub did not fight. It clung, claws hooking into her sleeve, not to hurt, just to hold on. She dove into the crawlway as the panel slammed shut behind her. In the tight shaft, cables hummed with the ring's rotation. Nora crawled fast, chest burning, the cub's heartbeat hammering against her ribs. Her wrist display blinked. Remote activation signal detected. Nora stopped. The collar on the cub's neck pulsed red. The cub lifted its head. Its pupils narrowed. Its body went stiff, like an unseen hand had grabbed the muscles under its skin. A low growl tried to climb out of its throat, thin and wrong, not a choice, not even anger. The cub's claws dug into Nora's arm. She winced, but she did not drop it. "Hey," she said, close to its ear. "That's not you. Stay with me." Ringwarden burst into her ear. Weapon activation in progress. Nora's fear turned into something cleaner. Anger. "No," she said, and her voice did not shake. "Not you." She pried open the collar's access seam. Sparks bit her fingers. The cub jerked, jaw trembling, teeth bared like it was being puppet. Nora wrapped her free hand around the cub's chest, steady pressure, like anchoring a person in a panic. "Look at me," she whispered. "Breathe." For one heartbeat, the cub's amber eyes met hers, and the glassy blankness cracked. Nora yanked the lock pin free. The collar snapped open and fell away, clattering down the shaft. The red light died. The cub sagged like a string had been cut, then buried its face in her shoulder and exhaled, shaking. Nora pressed her forehead to its head for half a second, then kept moving. She dropped into hydroponics, where mist floated over green leaves and the air smelled alive. She hid the cub behind water tanks, then keyed her comm. "Captain, the collar was a trigger. They can spike aggression remotely." Captain Rear's reply came after a hard beat. "So they built a monster switch into a baby?" "Yes." "Hold. I am coming to you. And Vance?" "Yeah." "Good work." Nora almost laughed at the sound of approval in a war zone. Almost. A shadow moved through the fog of the plants. A voice, filtered by a mask, spoke with practiced confidence. "Return corporate property. No one else needs to die." Nora clicked her plasma cutter on. The hiss was small, but it carried. "Funny," she said, "I was thinking the same thing about you." The boarder's visor swept the room. Thermal signature detected. Nora sliced the main feed pipe. Water blasted out. Mist exploded, turning hydroponics into a white storm. Bolts cracked through fog, missing everything important. A bolt punched a nutrient tank. Fluid sprayed, sharp and cold. The cub flinched and tried to run, but it stayed close to Nora's legs, choosing her over the panic. Nora scooped it up and ran for the spine access. Gravity shifted as she crossed the threshold. The ring spin tried to pull her sideways. Her stomach lurched. Behind her, the boarder stumbled, boots fighting for traction, cursing as the corridor became a problem instead of a path. Humans grew up with this motion. Outsiders fought it. Nora pushed off the handrail and moved fast, boots skimming, body angled with the spin. She hit a junction and slapped a maintenance latch. A hatch popped open, venting a short burst of cold air from a service line. The boarder rounded the corner and hit the slick frost she had just made. His feet shot out. His rifle clanged, sliding away. Nora did not shoot him. She did not need to. She kicked the rifle into a side alcove and kept moving. The boarder lunged and caught her pack. "Give it. It is designed to kill." The cub twisted in her arms and stared at him. Then it made a sound, sharp and thin, a warning that was older than ships. The boarder hesitated. Nora drove her elbow into his visor. The plate cracked. Air hissed out. He floated backward, grasping at nothing, and the ring's pull dragged him into the rail hard enough to end the chase. Ahead, two ringwalkers appeared with magboots locked, faces set. Dr. Amir was with them, breath quick, eyes fierce. He saw the cub and his expression changed. "It is a juvenile. Hold still." He checked the cub's neck. Stimulant port. They planned to force aggression. Nora's jaw clenched. "Can you stop it?" "I can disable it," Dr. Amir said. "Now." He worked fast with a field kit, hands steady in the low-gravity spine, fingers sure like he had done this on crying children before. The cub watched him, ears flattened, but it did not bite. It only shook. Gunfire echoed closer. More boarders. Captain Rear's voice snapped over the comm. Bring them to the rotation control node. I am sealing the segment. They moved through the spine to the node, faster than fear. On the way, Nora caught a glimpse through a viewport into the ring's inner void. Lights curved away in a perfect circle. Homes. Gardens. A school module. All of it held together by spin and trust. Captain A met them at the door, bruise on her cheek, baton in hand. She looked at the cub, then at Nora. You broke protocol, she said. Nora swallowed. I did. Captain Rear's eyes narrowed. Why? Nora's answer came out before she could polish it. Because I know what it feels like to be smaller than the people deciding your fate. Captain A held her gaze, and something in her expression eased. Then we will write a better one, she said. She turned to the console. Ring warden. Counterspin pulses. Anchor all station personnel. Warning. Non-anchored bodies will be destabilized. Captain Rear's smile was thin. That is the point. The ring shuddered in a controlled surge. Humans with mag boots stayed upright. Boarders without anchors slammed into bulkheads, aim destroyed, bodies sick with sudden motion. Station defenders moved like they belonged, because they did. Tools in hands. Wrenches. Cutters. Restraints. Not for revenge. For removal. The boarders tried one last push toward the node. Captain Etcher stepped into the doorway. The tiger cub, held close by Dr. Amir, lifted its head. It did not roar. It cried. A small, cracking sound that made the room feel human again. The lead boarder hesitated, gun wavering. Captain Etcher struck his wrist. The rifle fell. Restraints snapped shut. The rest broke and ran, stumbling through the ring's shifting corridors until security dragged them down. Minutes later, silence returned. Only the steady hum of rotation remained. Nora sat against the wall, hands shaking now that she was allowed to. Dr. Amir laid the cub on a clean blanket. Without the collar, it looked even smaller. June, one of the ring walkers, offered a finger. The cub sniffed, then bumped it gently with its nose. June's laugh came out soft and watery. It is just, little. Captain A picked up the fallen collar, the red word still stamped into its casing. Weapon. She turned it over like it was trash. This does not belong on a throat. Nora's eyes burned. Corporate will come. Captain Rear's voice was steady. Let them. She looked at Nora. Give it a name. Nora stroked the cub's fur. Stripe. The cub's tail flicked once, then it curled closer and slept, breathing slow, safe for the first time. The next cycle, Captain RHA walked with Nora to the nursery module. Not a lab. Not a vault. A nursery. Inside, the lights were warm and the walls were painted with simple stars. A few station kids watched from behind a safety line, eyes huge. Nora held Stripe carefully, ready to retreat if it panicked. A little girl stepped forward with a plush toy, a stitched fish with one eye missing. She held it out with both hands like an offering. Stripe sniffed the toy, then lifted one paw and tapped it. The toy toppled. The kids giggled. Stripe blinked, startled by the sound, then tapped it again, gentler, like it was learning the rules of play. Dr. Amir smiled. See? No activation. No forced rage. Just curiosity. Nora felt something loosen in her chest that she had kept tight since the first alarm. Later, when the breach was patched and the borders were gone, Captain Archer returned with a small metal tag. Simple. Plain. Real. Juvenile. Name. Stripe. Status. Protected. Nora clipped it to a new collar that did not lock, one that could be removed with a gentle pull. Stripe sniffed the tag, then pressed its forehead into Nora's palm again. Outside the windows, the universe stayed dark and hungry for control. Inside the ring, a human chose mercy, and that choice changed the math. A weapon is what you force. A child is what you protect. If this story hit you, tap like and subscribe for more HFY sci-fi. And tell me in the comments, what was your favorite moment in Nora and Stripe's escape?